In this tutorial, we're going to look at the difference between global and non-global colours. I've already got the beginnings of a Christmas tree illustration. I'll zoom in on these two decorations on the left, a blue star and a red bauble. Because they are already set up as groups, I'll use the direct selection tool to select only the blue star or the red bauble. I've already got my swatches panel showing. Notice that when I click on the blue star, because the fill box is active, the blue colour swatch that I've applied to the star highlights to indicate the colour applied to the selected object. If I click on the red circle, likewise, the colour that I've applied as a fill highlights in the swatches panel. The red colour is a global colour, and that's indicated visually by the small white triangle in the bottom right hand corner of the swatch. Now I'll demonstrate the difference between a global and a non-global colour. It's really very simple. All the stars in this artwork have got the same blue applied to them. I'll make sure that I've got nothing selected before I double click on the blue swatch in the swatches panel. That takes me to the swatch options dialog box where I can edit the colour. Notice that the global checkbox is not selected. I'll do something pretty obvious. I'll take the magenta slider down to 0. I'll OK the dialog box. The result is that I've edited and changed the colour swatch, but none of the objects to which the colour was applied update. They are still the original blue. By contrast, if I double click on the red swatch, you'll see in the swatch options dialog box that this is set up as a global colour. If I make a pretty obvious change again, let's say reducing the amount of magenta, I can either switch on the preview and you'll see the result, or I think I'll simply go ahead and OK the dialog box. And the obvious result is that all the objects where the global colour was applied have updated to reflect the edit I just made in the swatch options dialog box. I'm working with CMYK process colours in this example, but exactly the same principles apply if you were working in RGB. So, if you want to work as quickly and efficiently as possible in Illustrator, in the majority of instances, using global colours will save you a lot of time. Thankfully, Adobe have now eventually recognised that. In Adobe Illustrator CC 2018, when you create a new colour swatch, I'll just do that by clicking the New button at the bottom of the swatches panel. And you'll see that the global checkbox is selected now by default. If I OK the dialog box, there's my new global colour. One last point, the default method for new colours you create is global, but the initial palette of default colours are still non-global. So I'd suggest if you're thinking of using any of the default colour swatches, double click on them first to convert them to global before you start to use them in your artwork.